Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party successfully entered the Mybastrom prison camp in the Copper Mountains of the Aegis Federation, where Caleb and Zephyr's fathers, an old adventuring comrade of Karo's, and the reclusive and mysterious Dr. Knight have been forcibly or otherwise taking up residence. Journeying with a party of dwarvish mercenaries, the party managed to reach the prison and infiltrate it under the guise of being experiments for Dr. Knight. A ruse that she is helping you to maintain, as she revealed during your conversation, as soon as she had any privacy at least, that she had no intention of the Concord and the Ickers machinations getting so out of hand. All she had intended was to test it on a few people nobody would miss, and use it to turn herself into something more beautiful than what she currently is, as she has someone she deeply loves but feels unworthy of. While the party has tried to convince her otherwise, at the very least, she has agreed that she no longer wants to aid the Concord, and she hopes that with you guys protecting her, she may be able to get out of this with her head still attached to her neck. She has stabilized the unstable infection in your blood, stopping its progress at eating away at your minds, and giving you clarity of thought and purpose that the infected among you have largely lacked over the previous months. And she brought you to your loved ones. Zephyr's father, kept in a small dank cell where their blood acted as a observational base for Dr. Knight's experiments, although he himself seemingly was not infected. And Caleb's father, who, while Dr. Knight had no use for him, had intended on, rather the dwarves had intended on turning him into a sleeper agent, although the brainwashing never seemed to take full root. And once he was reminded of who Caleb was, having not seen him in several years, he recognized the young boy, and with his mind miraculously intact despite his years of hardship, joins you along with the fighter of Karo's old party to get out of here before the dwarves are any the wiser that you are robbing them of what they at least appear to think are very valuable subjects. But as you make your way out of the cell blocks, there is one last errand Dr. Knight hopes to conduct. Her assistant is gathering up the research of hers that you wish to preserve, and with orders to destroy whatever cannot be salvaged. She wants no one else but her knowing the secrets of how to do this process to anyone else. And with a sample of Lucian's blood in hand, she has made clear her intentions that should her and Lucian prove compatible enough for the catalyst to be stabilizing, she intends to turn herself into a beautiful elvish woman and be with the man she loves. Concord be damned. As you all ascend from the darkness of the cell block and begin to cross through the mines where the Alephakirian undead continue to chip away at the Copper Mountain's insides, Dr. Knight leads the group, although she is visibly a bit tense. Rehutai and Bernard and Zephyr, with your father still leaning on you for support, you all hug the back, and while she doesn't say it for fear of drawing attention, you can tell that Dr. Knight is unsure how confident she should be that her excuse of borrowing test subjects is going to hold up the further you get to freedom.
Can I pass
Also, I rolled a
money
16
pouch?
on performance for continuing Caleb's performance as a zombie.
Noted. And one more time, what's this?
Can I pass her a money pouch as bribery for the dwarves if needed?
How much are you giving her?
Let me double check my inventory real
Just gives her
quick.
the whole pouch. Just use whatever you need.
I'll give her about 2,000.
All right. Roll sleight of hand to see if you can get this past the guards.
I'd like to use my passive to see if I can see this exchange.
Okay. Noted.
Let me see. Well, instead of doing a sleight of hand, could I just say, here's the money pouch you requested, mistress, since we're her test subjects and she's already worked on us?
Roll deception.
Oh my god.
Are you better at deception than sleight of hand?
Maybe.
Hang on, I can't really see anything.
Need me to check for you?
They're about take for tack.
So what do you want to go for though?
18.
All right. And you're doing deception?
Correct.
Okay. Also, welcome, Tuco. You didn't miss anything I haven't already told you. You're just heading out now, and is giving Dr. Knight some money so that she can bribe the guards to not ask too many questions if need be.
I'm sorry, what?
You didn't miss anything I haven't already told you. We just did the recap, and is giving Dr. Knight some money so that she can bribe the guards to not question you guys if need be. Lucian, you watch as hands Dr. Knight a jingling coin purse, and you give a fairly convincing performance of simply being a loyal test subject that is following your directive. And while again you cannot see the face beneath the hazmat suit, she does give you a small nod of affirmation, and does not acknowledge you further, although you don't know whether that's her being nervous or her simply doing what she normally does with the Ichor beasts.
Exactly.
I'll whisper to Wes's, are you sure that's going to be enough? I mean, the pirates did say that some of these nobles were worth much more. Of course, I'm whispering.
Yeah, stage whisper, I get you.
If she needs more, she has to use requests from her loyal servant to give her more. Cough, cough.
You make your way through the freezing chambers of mines before you re-enter the primary prison complex. Caleb, you and Zephyr's fathers look eagerly at the cavern ceiling, almost like they're waiting to get that precious glimpse of sunlight that they've been denied.
Caleb does his best undead impression.
How convincing is he?
Decently so. He's not a terrible actor by any means. You don't know if like a zombie would be convinced, but you imagine a casual observer probably wouldn't think twice.
Yeah, but like a zombie could probably smell the living on him.
You smell pretty alive, fucko.
No, he's fresh.
Still kicking fresh.
He's still hard.
Never said it again.
Yes, never say that again.
Yeah, we're in agreement on that. There's been some thorough testing.
Honestly, I didn't even think about it.
About midway through the complex, as you're making your way back up the pathway that leads outside of the mountain, you see Toyn Fonford, the dwarvish owner of the land, approaching you. Tuco, for your reference, you got a glimpse of this guy earlier. They're a dwarf with white hair and a beard, although the hair is patchy, as they appear to have several scars lining their face, which the hair obviously does not grow back properly in its place.
So this is, and I'm familiar with them, or have I just seen?
Yeah,
them
you saw them earlier. They basically let you guys through since you said that you had business with Dr. Knight, which she confirmed. He seems to just be kissing up to her to try and get more out of the Concord.
Makes sense.
He's an ass kisser.
Speaking of, he looks to Dr. Knight with a sycophantic grin, and I trust you found everything you needed to find, Doctor? She kind of gives an impassive tilt to the head, and yeah, I reckon so. Made a few adjustments to these ones. Little, unstable, you know? Yes, I did get that impression from them. And, now that you've finished your work with, this one, and he gestures to Lucian, do you think, perhaps we could, renegotiate our deal with the Alefakirs? You're gonna have to take that one up with him yourself. I ain't your errand boy, nor am I his. Doctor, please be reasonable. The negotiations of Queen Wyborn were... And you can see she shoots him a look through the mask, and he kind of seems to backpedal a bit. The Queen Wyborn's terms were very generous, but times are changing, and with the ball coming up, we are going to be quite busy. You understand, we need to make an impression. We are one of the oldest Yavin powers. Stay in your place, and there's no reason for that to change. Now get out of my way. I got some stuff I need to get from the lab, and now I got a pair of hands to help me carry it all. Unless there's gonna be a problem. He kind of nervously looks to all of you, and you see him, as far as he can tell, Caleb, with your performance and what's his deliberately leaning into the, stable but loyal Ickerbeast performance, he fully seems to believe that all of you are completely loyal to her and not to him. So with a kind of visible upset in his eyes, he clears his throat and steps out of the way. Of course, Doctor. Do give my regards to Dr. Elefakir and Queen Wyborn. I'll be sure to do that next time I see him. She snaps her fingers to all of you. Come on now, everyone. Back in line. Gonna need your help carrying everything out of the lab.
Yeah, alright.
Caleb continues his act.
As you make your way back to her laboratory, she allows you all entry. You go through the decontamination again, and exit on the other side. Looking around, you're back in the central chamber, which initially had several surgical tools and vials lining it, but have since been packed away into a small set of about 6 suitcases. Tuco, you can see Dr. Knight's elvish assistant, Norman Mopes, hopping from shelf to shelf, stuffing vials, scalpels, and various tools and equipment into the suitcases, carefully enough to not break any of them, but still seeming kind of haggard and rushed. And he kind of visibly jumps as the door shuts behind all of you, although he visibly calm, seeing that you are with her and you seem unharmed. I'm almost done here, Doctor. Just getting the last of it. Thanks, nurse. She kind of twiddles her fingers awkwardly, but turns to the rest of you. All right. With Fawnford, well, he seemed to buy it. We shouldn't have any trouble getting out of here, but y'all don't happen to have an exit strategy. I'm not expecting the dwarves to give us much trouble, but where do we go after all this?
Actually, I do.
What'd you have in mind?
Do you know whether there's any plants?
You're hard-pressed to find much around here, but there's some saplings growing in the forest down the mountain.
That would work, I think.
How big are they?
Pretty narrow. The dwarves' logging operations were pretty brutal, but I know they grow a little bit bigger further down the road, further away from the cities and all.
Maybe we
Lucy,
should get out of the
wait.
city first.
Lucian waves like, it's fine. All you have to do is bend down a little. You'll be fine.
She kind of gives you a quizzical tilt of the head, not bothered to take off her suit as she's simply helping with the packing. But she kind of shakes her head, and I'll take y'all's word on that.
Dr. Knight, would it be okay if I load some of these into my bag of holding to make it easier for transport?
Yeah, sure. Just don't knock them around too much. My research is delicate. I can't afford to lose any of it now.
I was
I'll
gonna
let
ask
you hold on
anything have
to
a
it
limit?
once, if you'd like.
All right, going one at a time. What's his? One more time.
He was just gonna say, I'll let you hold on to the bag of holding if you'd like.
She gives you a nod. Caleb?
Don't bags of holding have a limit?
500
An upper
pounds.
limit, yeah, but these are just a few suitcases. They're not, like, huge or anything. You could easily hold, like, one in each hand, so. And Tuco?
I was going to ask, would you mind if I copied some of your notes?
Oh, I've already asked that.
She kind of hesitates a little bit. Tuco, roll persuasion.
Let me see here. Where did all my dice go?
Last I saw, they were on your desk.
Oh, there they are. Okie doke. Alright, let me see what my modifiers are. Alright, so a 16 minus 1, so 15.
She considers for a moment, and I'll let you take a look if you think it'll help, but understand, some of this I'm intending on taking to the grave with me. I've seen now what this research can do in the wrong hands. It's just luck that I never told anyone else in the Concord how to replicate it. It's not that I don't trust y'all, it's just they could torture it out of you, force you to make more for themselves.
You got a point there, girlie. But at the very least, where do you intend to hold up?
For now, I'm following the advice of your friends, and I'm gonna stay up, bunk up in Rosewick for a bit. As far as the Concord knows, they're still an asset. They won't think to look for me there. And means I can help y'all on the war front, at least a little bit. But once the Concord gets wind that things have changed, I'm honestly not sure. I don't know if there's anywhere here that's safe. Maybe I'll just go home.
Where do you live?
My old colony in the mountains got taken over by Tropu after we joined, but I met my first outside friends and family doing adventuring across the pond in Perugia. Maybe I'll make my way there. I hear things are, well, at the very least, it won't be hard for me to find work. And maybe I can find my master.
Oh, that's awful sweet.
She, again, face imperceptible, but she does give you a slow nod of the head. Thank you all for, I don't know, taking a chance on me. I don't exactly think of them much as friends, but I hope you'll at least extend that same mercy to the others. At least the ones you think deserve it. I don't know if everyone on the Concord can be saved, but I like to think not. I like to think at least some of them are like me.
We've already theoretically helped one.
Let's see.
What was her name?
Aragos?
The little lovesick one.
The Aragos, yes.
President Ergos, I heard. It's nice what you did for her.
Hopefully she learns.
I'm just glad that she listened to me.
I don't know about that.
Well, what she does with her second chance is up to her.
She kind of gives a somewhat distracted nod as she starts stuffing her suitcases into the bag of holding.
With
I
how
may
many
not-
notes and stuff you have, I'm surprised you never invested in one of these yourself.
I'm never been much one for these kind of things, magics and items. I'm a scientist. Until I started all of this, magic was outside of my comfort zone.
Well, I don't know shit about magic either, but I have some.
Well, maybe I would have eventually, but I don't know. The things I needed and wanted changed a lot over the past couple years.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tuco, while you can't see her face, you do see the head of her suit kind of turn in the intern's direction as he helps load up the suitcases into the bag of holding.
After a moment, I could see Tuco just. Is he gonna join you?
You can see she goes to speak, but Norman interrupts her and just, yeah, wherever she's going, I'm going.
You see Tuco's expression soften at that and just. Yeah, good on you, mate.
Yeah, they're an item.
I picked
Yeah,
up on that, you great lug.
Both of them start erupting in stuttered and bashful protests.
Oh,
she's just
please,
teaching
save
me,
it
and
for
just,
the
I'm just.
save it for the torture chamber that is
Yeah,
listening to you all deny your feelings for one another.
Yeah, you can't fool us.
You two enjoy a
This
long and
party is
happy
suddenly
life together.
so interested in their relationship.
Well, what I
don't
love
know.
seeing them squirm for
Miss Becker
one, but
for
it is
Rowan.
adorable. Like they can't even fool each other. Not really.
Stop.
You can see both of them kind of take a moment to collect themselves. Anyways, Nurse, I would actually feel a lot better if you took my notes and took them overseas. Somewhere the Concord without Tropu can't reach. With him gone, they're limited to this continent. If we get you on a boat out of here, at the very least, they won't reach you until you've lived a long, happy life. I appreciate the thought, Doctor, but I'm not going anywhere.
If you won't, I can certainly see about taking it.
You can see
Despite
the...
my appearance, I am more than inclined to cure disease rather than cause it.
You can see this actually gives Dr. Knight some pause, and she kind of stares at you for a moment. Maybe it's too personal a question, and I know I'm probably not in a position to be asking any, but I've been living down here doing my research for over a decade now. I've seen a lot of things that most people who don't come this far down just think are stories. I've seen folk that look like you, but they don't act like you.
No, I reckon they don't. Let's just say that I used to have something like you. Which is why I want to see you not let it go to waste, Doctor. You never know when you'll lose it.
You can see that visibly gives her some pause for thought, and she is silent for the remaining packing. But Norman does kind of, after a bit of hesitation, lay a sympathetic hand on your shoulder and just give you a small nod of respect.
Hugo just, yeah, he gives a firm nod back and just... as many as it takes, till that emptiness goes away. So I'll cure the whole world if I've got to. Maybe then I'll feel better. Oh, I ramble.
And also an idea, if you're worried about hiding your research and it not being found, you can always keep it in that bag of holding and have, which people was it? Caleb's people, just keep an eye on the bag.
I'm
Don't tell them
not.
what's in it. They can't give away secrets if they don't know what it is.
I'm not entirely sure I'm comfortable with that. No offense.
I would have to find some loyal people.
If you're a king, you put it in your treasury. Nobody's getting in there without the treasury guy knowing about it.
Have you met Zephyr?
From what I heard, even
So
he knew that Zephyr got
does
in
Caleb
there.
remember the details of our treasury guys' knowledge of their thing? Doesn't he have perfect knowledge of it or something?
Roll history with advantage. And in the meantime, it's not just about keeping it safe. That's just why I'm not letting anyone copy it.
What role was it again? History?
Yeah, history.
With advantage.
Yeah, with advantage because you live there. It's not just about that. It's...
I got a dirty 20.
Thank you. If it's with my nurse, that means I know where it is, but I made sure to keep him out of everything. You can see Norman's brow kind of furrow a bit. They don't know anything about him. They won't know to look for it there. Royal treasuries, especially of our former allies, that'll be the first place they go looking when they realize I'm not on their side anymore. With me gone, their first research is either going to be finding me and bringing me back into the fold, or replicating my studies. I think the only one on the team who can do that is Dr. Kaloum, but he made it pretty clear he wasn't interested, so their next best thing is going to be figuring out where I hid my research if I didn't destroy it. But I can't throw it away yet.
And you're sure they don't know about your little nurse here? It doesn't seem like something they just overlook.
Yeah, I mean, the lady seems to know a lot of things about lots of things.
You can see her fingers kind of clench and unclench nervously. Caleb, history?
I had rolled a dirty 20.
It was a dirty 20.
Yes, you recall that the Tavadran treasurer has, he basically is permanently linked up via a item he carries to the contents of the treasury. He knows when someone enters, when someone exits, and what items are still contained within.
And as far as we know, there is no way to bypass that.
As far as you know, the only way to bypass it would be there are said to be spells that can make one invisible to a scrying eye.
Yeah.
But that would be the only way to get past that barrier, and those sorts of spells are typically only known by incredibly talented casters.
Caleb will say, our treasurer has pretty much a perfect vision of the treasury. He has what is it called? Like an eye? Being
Scry.
eye?
Uh,
Yes, that's it.
Lucian looks a little bored and looks over to Zephyr. And how many times have you broken in?
I mean, broken in and not necessarily broken in, but
Zephyr doesn't exactly have to break into that one, does he?
but
It's
Oh,
not
he's
about, it's
technically
not about
royalty.
need. It's not about need.
if I wanted to get in, now that I didn't really know much about how he knew, but now that I know, I can work around him.
And if he can, that means someone on the Concord probably could as well. And
True.
as for the lady, I don't know. If
You could
my...
bury it.
And how long before Kaloom's machines dig it out of the ground?
They gotta know where to dig.
I mean, all Lucifer would have to do is fucking scry on it.
You can always scry it if you
Or
know where it's
locate
at, or
objects.
you've seen it.
It's pretty easy to locate an object.
Only if you've seen it.
Object located.
And not necessarily. You can also know about it. It will make it less likely to find, but it's not impossible.
Well, maybe I'll need to finish what I'm working on first. I don't want to put it beyond my reach until I know I don't need it anymore. But I could maybe have it sent away. Far away.
What are you gonna do? Shoot it in
What
space?
stops them from hiring a ship and just going after it?
Where I'm sending it, a ship won't help. Nor will scrying eyes.
What are you gonna do? Shoot it in space?
You don't think you, like... I know this is a long shot. You wouldn't be having to plan to give back your research to, the plague doctor, would you?
Oh.
She shakes her head. Even if I wanted to, there wouldn't be any point. He already knows about it, understands it, like he does all diseases.
Yes. But he'd keep the research. Nobody else could get it unless he wanted them to.
That actually is not a bad idea.
Yeah, if somebody tries to steal it, then he'll probably just infect them with all kinds of horrible diseases.
In which case they'd die before they could use it.
She kind of hops side to side in a shockingly adorable little display of thinking quickly. Norman, if I gave you everything and got you on a boat, would you be able to get my research to the castle? Get it safely inside, give it to the other Oathbreakers. Norman kind of looks a little put off, and I'm not going to leave you here. She kind of makes a small little huff of irritation and impatience as she kind of starts pacing the lab.
Can I step forward over to him and just kind of like put my hand on his shoulder? I've been away from the person that I care about for a while. It's hard, but sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to in order to get what we want.
And you can always come back to her. You'll know where she's at.
It's not, yeah, like you said, it's not like you're not gonna see her again.
But it's very
Lucian,
important
roll
to her,
persuasion.
so it's important. So it's important to you, right?
Persuasion. All right, D&D Beyond, don't fuck me.
So while they're doing that, Cave's gonna look to Zephyr. What do you have that could get around that eye?
I mean, I really haven't been using it a lot. I had it for a while though, but I guess he'll kind of show off his necklace. This thing can prevent perceiving due scrying senses, so.
Lucy just kind of narrows her eyes at him. That would have been nice to
Well,
know.
he wouldn't know you're in there, but the second you removed something, he
True,
would
but
notice it's missing.
by then though, I'd be gone.
You might be, but maybe someone else might not be so quick.
That is a
You're
23.
implying you're saying if I go with someone else, though, I wouldn't bring anyone else.
No,
'Cause
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like if we have to keep something there from like the Concord.
um,
That's enough. That's enough.
As the two rogues discuss in the back, the elves, you appear to be getting through to Norman, and his brow stays furrowed, but he looks over tonight and... As you wish, Doctor. But I'm coming back after I drop it off. You can't stop me. Gods know I've tried.
I'll even tell you her precise location. How about that? What? All I have to do is like send a message. It's not
I
like it's
mean, are you gonna go with him or something?
No, he'll. Well, how would you contact him once he gets there? You won't know when he gets there.
I can send a message.
Or am I
Well, you gonna check
saying,
up on him every day, be like, "Hey, are you there yet? Are you there
No,
yet?"
no, 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 no,
Please
no,
don't.
no, 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 nothing like that. No, no, no. Like when we get there safe
It's
and
like,
sound, and she's all settled in, that's when I will.
I'm pretty sure he knows where Rosewick is.
Yeah, but like,
it's not hard to find, unlike Fuse.
whatever. I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, we understand, but we don't need to make it more complicated.
I'm not making it complicated. I'm trying to make it
Some
easier.
things never change.
I'm trying to make it easier. But like I said, whatever. I'm not going to. Whatever.
Alright. I think that's everything. At least nothing the dwarves can use for themselves. As for us, well, just keep up the act. The only one left to worry about is the warden, but he might be busy. If we're lucky, we won't even run into him on the way out.
Never count on luck. Always be prepared. Is that 2,000 I gave you enough, or do you think I need more to give you?
She kind of taps her fingers against her side, kind of seeming put off by something, and... Well... Thing is... Well, you know how they say most people aren't immune to bribery?
You're
Yeah.
You're
worried
going
that
to tell me
not-
this is the one dwarf that is.
Not through gold. The owner of the land, he's in it for the money. I think that's the only reason he joined my operation. Thought it would profit him, and realized a bit too late that it's not much easier maintaining a bunch of rotten corpses than it is ones that are about to be that.
So what is it that he wants?
The
Is
warden,
he
I
not-
reckon? He's a sadist. He's in it just because he likes watching the inmates suffer.
We can't watch inmates suffer if they're all dead.
He's not exactly thrilled about the new arrangement, as you can imagine. You can see the prisoners all kind of visibly scowling, or in Zephyr, in your father's case, recoiling at the mention of the warden.
You.
Seems like everyone in this group has some experience with him.
That man is evil.
Who's talking right now?
Your father.
Okay. I still haven't memorized the voices you're using.
Do you think we should deal with him and take him with us? No experiment and all.
I mean, I could make him disappear permanently. I have the skills.
How easy is it to distract him?
I've never exactly tried. Never really had to before now.
We're supposed to be under Dark Knight's control. If you're trying to distract him, he'll know it's fake. And that something's up.
you know where he is right now?
Depends on how smart he is. If he's as stupid as he looks, He's just down in the cell blocks, finding inmates to bug. You can see, again, the inmates all kind of scowl.
Wait, didn't I see him? Wasn't he the one decorated in all the medals and stuff?
Yes.
Calling himself Colonel?
Yes.
Hmm. We could always tell him that there's been a rebellion down in the tunnels. He'll have to go deal with it. His honor would demand it.
Rebellion. All of them are dead or not, Megan. Or most of them at least.
No, not all.
They haven't been using us for labor ever since they started getting shipments from the Aleficates. But they're still
What's
keeping us
about that
around.
Okay.
What's that?
What's about all of that, by the way?
Well, see, all of us in the Concord, they had us make an agreement with the lady. All of us the same, even if the terms are different. Idea is, she helps us and we help each other get something, but then once we have what we want, we have to pay it back with interest. For me, it was just getting my research perfected. The idea being that all of my failed experiments, and of course the formula itself, would be the lady's to keep once I was done.
So, what is your punishment?
For going back on it?
Yeah.
No one disappoints the lady and lives.
She sounds raw
Damn it,
cheerful.
that's what happens whenever you disappoint her. I'd hate to see what happens if you anger her.
You're so quiet.
Yeah, it's just your phone, love.
Yeah, like he's all the way up. I can't even hear him.
Anybody else think I'm quiet?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, you sound good on my end. But yeah, and she kind of arms crossed, kind of hops side to side, although seeming more nervous now than excited jitters. Your old father, the king, he's what happens when you disappoint her. He didn't give her what she wanted.
So she infected him?
She gives a slow nod.
By the way, I was wondering if you had any more of that stabilizer left.
Oh yeah, I've got a couple in my pocket. Don't you worry.
And I've packed the ingredients to make more. First thing I'm going to do on getting back to Rosewick is I'm going to find somewhere to set up a lab out in the forest and start brewing up more.
Well,
And
why not?
Oh?
Why not hole up with Summer? She's brilliant.
I don't trust her.
Yeah, that's
That's
fair.
I was going to say, if you had any of that stuff left, then that could greatly simplify my plans. The Queen would give up anything for that if she was told it would save the King. Even
But
their,
the Queen's
she'd even
not
give
there
up their
anymore.
throne on his behalf.
Well, if the Queen's gone, that means with the King bedridden, you and your sister, unless your brother's returned in the past few weeks, I think I would have heard about it if you had. You're the heirs apparent. If you and your sister can come to an agreement on the matter, I don't know much about your adopted father, but she kind of clears her throat, and from what little I knew of him, he seems like someone who'd give up anything if it meant he'd survive.
It's true. And again, the Queen... Did the Queen leave? I thought the Queen was just staying.
No,
She left the city after
yeah,
we betrayed her.
Yeah, she
What she
told,
viewed as betrayal.
yeah, basically you guys went back on the deal, so she reneged on her end, and as far as you haven't seen her since, so you assume she's probably left the city. To where, who knows?
The problem is the King is completely delirious and unable to communicate.
The infection's eating away at his mind. We didn't check for stability before I gave him the injection, but if it's high enough, I may be able to fix it.
What happens if it's below 50%?
You said that you found, well, I don't need to just go on hearsay. Remember Subject Theta?
Oh, yes.
I'm assuming the rest of my children survived down there.
Mostly,
Well,
as far as we are aware.
about that. Some of them had to, they were too
Some
far
of them
gone.
had to be removed from our path.
Well,
But I think the majority survived.
well,
At least as far as we're aware.
that is what happens when you're below 50%. I told them it was a pointless direction of this research, trying to fuse more than two people. It's hard enough finding two souls that get along that well, let alone three or more.
There is one.
So if someone below 50% is injected with the stabilizer, they turn into an Ichor Beast.
I'm not sure. I only just discovered the stabilizer recently, and you guys, well, your heads haven't exploded, and you haven't started killing everyone yet. I reckon it's working.
What was that you said, Zephyr?
There is one.
Oh
She-
yeah, red, correct?
Yes.
Wait. You managed to make one that was stable with three or more souls? How many?
I guess technically three, unless there's more to be that I know of.
No, I've never made one of your kind with more than two before. She drums her fingers together.
Oh yeah,
and
you like injected someone with your blood, didn't you?
that would have spread the infection. They should have just become mindless once they died. But they're stable, you said, and the infection did take root. Did their form
Well,
change?
initially, so this is like I'll bring out all of my notes of the process because I stayed up. Remember, I stayed up the whole time, and I'll
Yeah,
just like show
everyone.
her all my notes and just be like, "Here you go."
She flicks through the notes incredibly rapidly, and you can see Norman kind of looking over the shoulder with a raised eyebrow.
Like,
Incredible.
what have I missed?
I know, it's so fascinating, right?
She closes the book and hands it back to you, but looks over all of you. Do not let anyone else outside of this room find out about this.
What
Never.
is red?
I mean, I can ask them.
I guess I have more than three. You'd have to make sure that, like, all three possible combinations would be compatible.
That's why I thought it would be impossible. It was hard enough getting it with two. 80% was 80, 90 was some of the highest I got with two. But a stable. And she looks to you, Zephyr, and kind of puts her hazmated hands over your cheeks and kind of rubs them. I knew there was something special about you. Something in your blood is a stabilizing factor. Could be you already had the catalyst, but I've never seen an Ichor Beast spread stability before. Even my finest creations only spread an infection.
Hadn't you said that you had previously gave him the stabilizer? So that is possible.
Maybe, but even with all of you, I had to lower your rate of infectivity. Maybe it's something to do with your biology. Xenobiology always complicates this kind of research. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to set up a lab, a new one, somewhere safe, out of the way.
I'm sure I could find an abandoned building somewhere.
I'm not picky. I'll find somewhere out of the city. In the forest, maybe.
Are you sure you want to be outside the protective walls?
If they want to find me, the walls won't help me. And this isn't a judgment on you, sweetie, but you do live in a city of thieves. Abandoned building or not, I can't trust that squatters won't take root and try to take what isn't theirs.
It'll be so much easier if my plans can work, because then I could just, decree that that place is quarantined for
I
infectious
mean,
reasons.
are you still against going to Sundragon?
Sun Dragons in the Western Alliance. They're at war. That's the last place I need to be right now.
Hmm.
Best case scenario, I'm captured and tried, and whatever it is they do up there, stab me to death, cut my head off. And worst case scenario, if we don't win this war, I'm going to be on the front lines when the Lady in White takes what's hers. I'm
Well,
not looking forward to either situation.
We can
couldn't you go
always,
under? Sorry, go
there's
ahead.
always a Kyogre. They're in the Concord.
Well, they're
Well,
also
once we
in
get
a
control
civil
of
war.
Kyogre.
If you can wrest it away from Kaloum and your father, maybe. But
For now, stay with Rosewick. When we get things settled up north, we'll revisit the situation. I think would be best.
she gives a nod and looks to Norman. They kind of share a long, lingering stare before she turns back to all of you. All right, if there's no more questions, this is the last leg of it. We gotta get out of here.
Now, if this goes south, we run. Nobody stays and fights.
Yeah, we run, and I
No
will
Find
find
the nearest
heroes.
plant so you can teleport us or something.
Yes.
All right.
But there won't be any heroes today. We run.
I'll think life already beat you to the punch on that one, mate. And you can see the prisoner is glaring at Dr. Knight, who, to her credit, if she notices it, does not react visibly, just goes about readying the decontamination chamber for your exit.
Just while they're waiting on that, Caleb looks to his father and be like, "Do you like my undead impression?" And repeats his impression from earlier.
He gives you a kind smile and places his organic hand on your head. Even had me fooled, son.
Honestly, you make a really good zombie.
Don't get any
And that's
ideas,
coming from me.
necromancer.
Oh, she's a necromancer, is she?
Yes.
He kind of gives you a nod. Could have used your help a few years back.
She gives a smile. I would have liked to help a few years back, but I was dead.
Well, we all... And he kind of rubs at the part where his arm prosthetic breaches his shoulder.
Oh, I completely get that. Can yours detach too?
Only whenever the dwarves want it off.
We'll have to get you some
His
upgrades.
isn't going to fall off like yours do.
It only falls off occasionally.
Maybe I should see about getting an upgrade from whoever gave you yours.
No,
mean,
that
we
would be
just-
Sun Dragon.
Was it there or was it in Edict?
Well, it was Sun Dragon because we didn't trust Edict.
Yeah, and you guys weren't willing to stay because recovering from an edict prosthetic takes a lot longer and it makes you dependent on energy cells. Surface prosthetics are not as effective, but are quicker and safer.
Well, if all goes according to plan, the Badger and that place that did that will be allies, so it'll be easy. And I think the Queen owes me a favor anyways.
Also, they know how to party.
Well, sounds like if we can get out of this damned place, we'll have a right party then. All right. He puts a hand on your face gently, Caleb, and game face, son. Ready?
Caleb will put his impression of the undead back on.
And Zephyr, your father, leans
I just
on
imagine he's just like fucking dissociating at this point.
And Zephyr, as your father leans on you, he kind of stares at you for a long moment before just resting his head on your shoulders, barely able to stand and clinging to consciousness.
Going to be able to run?
Should we carry him?
If it comes down to it, I'll carry him out. Zephyr, was it? You think you can hold on to him for a little bit?
Well, I can always carry him if it's needed, but only with Zephyr and his permission. Because it won't slow me down at all.
Zephyr, all eyes are on you.
Well, I mean, if need be, I don't see any problem with it, but so I have some ideas in mind.
Just give me the word.
Norman clutches the bag of holding to himself as you all cross into the decontamination chamber. Are cleansed for the 4th time today of any diseases lingering on your skin.
Oh, Lucian is so happy. She's like fluffing out her hair for the 3rd
I don't think
time.
we'll ever get sick again.
That's not very likely. You can still get sick. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're still fucked, you know.
Yeah. Oh, we're laughing. Oh, we're laughing here. Always here to keep us humble.
Just sticking with the truth, my friend.
As the decontamination completes, the door rolls open, and you all step out. Caleb, roll deception.
I'm
And
rolling
we're
deception.
surrounded by guards.
Zombie face! Zombie face!
Deception. Well, I am proficient in deception, so you know what that means?
Very good rolls.
Almost guaranteed rolls, except for that 20. That one.
I got a 21.
Okay. Caleb, launching back into your undead routine. You all leave the lab behind, all of its goods and research emptied. Now just a bruised thumb on the hand of Myrostrom. And you all begin taking the upper path out. A few patrols of guards kind of visibly stop and look at you, but Caleb, at your zombified expression, and the rest of the group kind of stoically staying in line, they don't question it too deeply once they see that Dr. Knight is with you. And as you make it to the top, you see the warden, along with the 2 guards, are waiting at the entrance. The sunlight precariously, tauntingly close, but one last obstacle to reach it. The warden turns to look at all of you, a smarmy grin on his face and military medals clinking on his chest as he approaches all of you and... Well, more test subjects then, Doctor? Is that a problem, Colonel Nogard? He kind of gives a snort and looks over all of you. Just doing a little tinkering in the brains then? Fixing what was broken. I'm taking him back to base. She'll be very pleased to hear of my progress, and how you didn't stop me from accomplishing it. He kind of squints at her, although unlike the owner of the camp, does not seem as kowtowed by her. Although I will say that, checking passives real quick. I will say that Caleb, Lucian, and Zephyr, you notice that he is visibly sweating. Perhaps a bit more intimidated than he
in this party.
I believe the highest passive is...
It's probably Zephyr or Caleb.
No, Lucian.
It's Lucian, but
Yeah.
Zephyr
she
is
has...
right behind her by 1.
Yeah, because she has the observant feat.
What's her passive?
23.
And then Zephyr's 22.
Yeah, and you are
21.
Yeah, 21.
Am I really the lowest on perception?
I mean, it depends on
It's
Tuco.
okay.
And yes,
I
you are,
do have a
unfortunately.
-1 to my wisdom, so I guess that
Yeah,
makes
that'll
sense.
do it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so Rogues and Lucian, you do notice the dwarf seems a little more intimidated than he's letting on, but he's putting on a brave face. And all right then. He waves over one of the guards, who hands him one of the crossbows they carry, and he levels it at what's his chest.
Oh.
I do absolutely nothing. I don't even react.
They're so well under your control now. That means that they won't even react if I take a few pieces off. You can try. This one's one of my toughest makes yet. I'm sure I'll find something that breaks. Do you defend yourself?
No.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, this is actually my strong suit.
I would hope so.
Thank God. So, let's see, 19 plus 12, 31.
You all hear this sickening crunch sound as he points the crossbow down at what's-his foot and fires. But as mentioned, the bolts the guards carry are blunted so that they don't kill the prisoners, just knock them out. But as a streak of white-hot pain runs up your leg, you realize you stood still enough to not give yourself away, but he broke your foot doing that. And it takes everything you have to not wince at the pain, not even shifting your weight as you feel your bones shift and crack.
Oof.
Well,
Yeah, that military training's coming in handy for once.
another body part that's going to be robotic.
Oh my god.
At least a broken
Sorry,
foot can
I
just
got you.
heal.
I got you. Don't you worry. I got you.
Yeah, not.
Yeah, not right now, she doesn't.
Oh no, I didn't say no.
God, if he knows anything about like who's in front of him right now, I
he's
was
well
thinking
aware.
at the time the worst one he could probably try to hurt would be Caleb, because
I
not
was
only
actually
would
thinking
Caleb be the target, but not only would Caleb have to resist, his father would have to resist as well.
Yeah, not intervene to protect you. But
I was thinking Lucian.
there's a reason this guy singled out What's-His specifically.
Sure there is.
Because he's a colonel as well.
He glares up at you, studying your face for a reaction. When you give none, he seems kind of disappointed and kind of kicks your foot as he passes by it before strolling back to look at Dr. Knight again, who has her arms crossed and her fingers tapping with thinly concealed anger. It is purely the grace of the hazmat suit that she's not making it obvious that she's ticked. Satisfied? If you're done breaking my things, anyway. And I'll have you know, Fawnford has already been given payment. All the payment he needs, anyhow. The dwarf drums his fingers along the length of the crossbow, looking over each of you one by one. Before finally he sighs and squints to Dr. Knight. Right. But you'll be hearing about this when you come back. Oh, I'm sure I'll get an earful. Now get out of my way. He steps aside, and you can still walk, but at half speed.
Yeah.
As soon as we're out of earshot, let me see if I have a thing, actually.
Oh my god.
I have a
You should
thing.
wait till we're out of view as well.
Yeah, I shot as well.
I have a thing.
We're gonna start to it. I got a potion of healing I just use once we're out of sight.
You hit more, not damage, but technically it doesn't heal broken bones.
Does it?
Yeah, you would need a
Bones and
restoration
actual,
spell
like-
for that.
Are
Oh.
broken bones an actual effect in D&D?
Normally no, but I homebrew it to make combat more interesting.
Yeah.
Was I right
Well,
on
they
why
have
he
like a
singled me
disabled
out?
effect, right?
Ooh,
There's
and I
no
have
disabled effect.
I have it prepared as well. Mwahahaha.
Yeah, there's no disabled effect. So,
Oh, really?
they're actually, I think they're adding sort of. Well, they're adding slowed condition in the new edition.
I'll say like once we're like down the pathway a little bit, and I know that like he can't see anything. I'll take care of his foot by casting greater restoration.
Okay.
Do you have
I'll take out
100
the I'll take out the I'll take out
diamond
the
dust?
fucking I'll take out the bolt too. He just does
There's
it
no
like
bolt, it was blunt.
Yeah, it just broke his foot and then bounced off, but noted.
But does she
Okay.
have diamond dust?
yeah.
I thought if you didn't have it, you could
I
also
went
just expend
shopping.
gold.
No,
No,
That
you can
says-
do that if you're in a town, but not if
Oh.
you're
Yeah, not just like, oh, you could just easily go buy it kind of deal. Yeah.
mhm.
Technically, you need the items.
All right.
You gotta learn some alchemy so you can transmute it.
Once you're all about
Bar.
midway down the lattice work of bridges, you all stop for a moment to tend to your wound. Lucian, as you begin crushing together the adamantine dust to help his wound recover with healing magic.
That stuff was like toxic to magic creatures.
Only with bare skin contact. And Dr. Knight kind of sits down across from you, Whatses, and I'm sorry. Are you alright?
I'll be fine. I didn't think we would get out of that unscathed. I'm just glad he went for me and not the others.
I'm not
Ooh, you're
surprised.
I know, if he wanted to really be evil, he should have shot me, because then there would have been twice the chance.
Man's got a bone to pick and airship's worth of hot-headedness.
Yeah, if he went for anyone else, I was just going to throw him off the cliff.
We're nowhere near the cliff, so it'd take you a while.
Oh, no, he
Yeah,
we
he'll
were right next to
throw
it, like,
him like a
10
ball.
feet.
Yeah, I know everyone's thought about bowling dwarves once or twice. Can't just be me, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, don't some people like do that? They toss the dwarves?
I hear that's a thing in some places. Maybe I should get into it. Just make it a spectator sport.
I heard they like it.
You can see Norman giving a bit of a smirk as he turns his attention down to the village. Zephyr, as soon as the group comes to a stop, your father slips out of your grasp and falls onto the road. You initially think he might have passed out, but you see as he curls his body into a small ball that, given he is a reptilian biology that has been kept out of the sun for far too long, he's basking for the first time in over a decade.
Poor guy.
That sucks.
I'll look over to Wuzz's. I think now is a good time.
If Zephyr's okay with it. I'm not, like,
Good time for what?
last time someone tried to pick up one of his kind, they got a knife to the throat.
And pick them up for what though? I think we're outside, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we still,
you're about halfway down the bridge.
yeah,
for
we
this
still
work.
have to get the fuck out of here.
You need to find a plant.
Yes.
Well, a potted
Any plant
plant
will do.
work?
No, it needs to be big. It needs to be a large plant.
It doesn't specify actually.
Actually, I mean, it does. I think, right? Doesn't it
Nope.
specify
Gotta be
it?
big enough to walk through.
I'm pretty sure it specifies large.
Caleb, your father leans down to Zephyr's and gently rubs his shoulder. Come on, mate. We're almost there. We gotta keep moving. Zephyr's father kind of heaves a sigh, although it is not the one of suffering you would expect. And after a moment, his eyes open, seeming at least more focused than they had been. You can see he's forced to squint a bit. He seems about as well equipped for bright lights as Zephyr is, but he manages to slowly find his footing and keep going. Tuco, you hear the other prisoner, Kino, who was Kayla's father's cellmate, kind of pipe up with a snicker behind you. Just,
Hey,
oh, like a baby taking his first steps.
Matthew, can I use thaumaturgy to just kind of like warm him up a little bit?
Sure.
Caleb just looks to his father and Kino, and like, I bet the two of you haven't seen sun in a while either.
Your father, for his part, gives a slow nod, and Lucian, as your magic courses through the small kobold, his pace slowly picks up as he begins to trudge along with the rest of you. And Caleb, your father, just stares out at the view of the surrounding countryside from the mountain and takes a deep breath of fresh air.
I don't mean to be a party pooper, but we still have to get out of here.
Doing this as they walk, so.
Oh, I thought we stopped.
You stop briefly to tend to what's his wounds, but
Oh.
although Rahutai does pipe up in agreement and just, "All right, mate, we can smell the flowers later."
His name was Kino.
Rahutai Kino is his full name. You all make your way down the latticework. At this point, the sun is getting ready to set, and night will be falling soon.
How far away from the nearest plant?
Yeah, from the nearest
so
large plant.
We need a tree.
Transport via plants.
We need
Or-
a
I'm
tree.
checking to make sure the plants here will be big enough.
Large. It's not large. Large, right?
Okay, yeah, so yeah, actual width and height doesn't matter. So yes, just outside of the village there are some thin trees that you can use.
Cool beans. I will go
I
over.
think it's probably
to-
best if we don't sleep right next to the prison, because they're probably. I wonder how long it's going to take them to get into Dr. Knight's lab and realize it's empty.
Well, that's why
Well, they know it's empty.
Yeah. I'm just gonna start casting.
All right. And where are you setting the destination for this transport?
To the tree in Rosewick that we did our failed experiment.
Okay.
That one where the
I'm very familiar
remains?
with this tree, Jeremy. What do you want?
That needs to be a tree, so it can't be any place that doesn't have any.
Does it have to be a tree that they've like touched or something?
It's preferable if it is, but they can go off of a plant that they've just seen before.
Seen or
Have
touched.
they seen? All right, maybe we shouldn't go to that one.
Okay, I will just
Not
I will
really.
just set my course to Rosewick, just outside the city.
Okay.
Like not just outside the city where we can see like the gate, but like, far enough.
Yeah, it's far enough to where you can reasonably get back on the path and get to it quickly.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
After a bit of brief indecision, Lucian, you all quickly make your way through the village, not bothering to stop and check in on anything. Although, as soon as Lucian, you are within range, your familiar does abandon their post and rejoin you.
Okay, yeah, no, I would hope so.
And by the time you all get across the village and out to the tree line, it is about nightfall. And Lucian, you cast Transport via plants. You all step through. You will get this surge in your stomach before you reappear in the tree line of the Sprintwood.
Can we see the walls?
You cannot see the walls, however, Caleb, at a glance, you can see the tower of your family's castle poking into the sky. It's always been one of the more obvious landmarks of Rosewick.
Lucian is just like ushering everybody in. Quickly, quickly, it doesn't last very long. Come on.
As the portal disappears, and you all do a quick head count and making sure you haven't, lost any body parts or been fused with any bugs.
Have you, Caleb looks to his father, have you ever transported via plant?
Can't say I have, but never broken out of prison before either, so...
So I would like to add a little detail as you guys look at the tree that we just came out of. You can see just dark energy reaching up towards the plant as if it's preserving it.
Nice. But I guess that puts a whole new definition on photosynthesis, though, for plants.
Well, I wouldn't call it photosynthesis. It is technically necromancy.
Well, I mean, for us having transported through it, like light.
I got it.
Yeah, she just looks at you blankly.
Everyone's a critic.
Yep.
It's that I'm a critic, I just don't understand.
Caleb looks to his father again, like, are you excited to be home?
He gives you a smile, but you can see it's a little tense. And after a moment of thought, back there in the lab and in the cell, I didn't think too hard about it at the time, but you said the king was looking after you now. That so?
Yes, well, it's a bit complicated.
What happened to my brother? Is he still...
Yeah, he's fine. In fact, that's where we were going. We're going to
So we're gonna
his
get great in.
tavern right now.
That's fantastic, mate. I could go for a drink.
Yeah, just
Caleb
take it
looks to
slow.
his father,
It's
like,
been a
would you
while.
want me to maybe talk to him a bit? Or do you want to just, rip the band-aid off? He hasn't seen you in forever.
I'll go in. Knowing him, he's not... That stubborn ass isn't gonna believe it until he sees my face.
The friends will be excited to see you too. They were very sad.
His expression kind of falls, and he kind of looks down in contemplative thought. Kino, for his part, kind of gives a pat on his metallic shoulder, and... It's alright, mate. Just rip the bandage off. Like seeing your ex in a bar when you weren't expecting to. Sometimes you just gotta have that awkward conversation and blow past it.
Sounds oddly specific.
I can relate, actually.
I'm a busy man, mate. So, your dad's the king of the whatsits around here? That sounds exciting. But I hear something about you being the new head honcho of these parts. That so?
Is he talking to Caleb?
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm hoping Dr. Knight might actually be able to provide a final piece to make it happen.
Ah, that's so. He kind of strokes at his chin in thought. What's the piece you're missing, mate?
He has a means of dealing with the Icar affliction that has now been inflicted on the king.
Ah. Well, yeah, I suppose the king being alive does make it easier. The only way I could think for it to be even easier than that is for him to be dead.
Well, the idea is the king and queen are usually very self-centered. If it was between his throne and his life, he would always choose his life. So if I simply trade him the cure...
Sure, how you plan on doing that, though?
Yes, the
Well,
queen
for
leaving does
now-
make things a lot more complicated.
Wouldn't Summer be able to make that deal for the time being the only remaining heir other than yourself?
I mean, at that point, he's already king. It's not really like an heir thing.
Yes, there's still some more set up, but I've
Well,
had Dimitri keeping things on that path while I was gone.
I'll need time to study him, make sure that he even can be fixed. Maybe in that time you guys can figure out where the queen ran off to.
I think it can be done. I have some conversations that need to be had as well.
Well, I can always try.
Well, and if not, we can always just put out a rumor that Dr. Knight's there to cure him. She's bound to pop up if that's the case.
I'd rather not let
Yes,
rumors
we
fly
probably
around.
shouldn't
Yeah, you guys-
advertise her location.
You guys know
Oh,
it, right?
wait, you could scry?
Yes.
When did you do that?
But that's an issue for later.
That gives us a way to track her. Then we just need to get in touch with her. You have a
I
way
can
of
also
doing
do
that?
that.
Well, that makes things plumb easy, don't it? But you guys make yourselves cozy. I'm gonna scout around for a place to set up shop.
That's Kino?
Don't go
Dr.
too
Knight.
far.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They sound kind of similar.
Well, why don't you come inside with us? At least for the time being, you can set up shop in a little bit. At least until we make sure the area is safe enough for you to do so, please. You're very important to us at the
Yes, and
moment.
besides, you probably need some rest. It is very late.
I'll grab her little wing and I'll just be like, "It's all right. We'll keep you safe."
Even for my fiance, don't you worry.
She kind of looks nervous, but finally turns her mask to Norman, who grabs her other hand gently and gives her a smile. Come on. It's been a while since we just relaxed, you know? The research can wait. Yeah, I suppose that's right.
Yeah, we
Well,
could take you to a room. Wouldn't that be nice?
Your
That's up to
Majesty,
them.
mind treating your companions and compatriots to a round of drinks on the King's dime?
That was Kino, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle will probably be willing to make an exception tonight.
That's what I like to hear, mate. Nepotism and compliance.
Oh,
And if not, drinks are on me.
Bernard, you and me are getting trashed. Don't want to hear no arguments, mate. Got me?
I'm on board.
I probably should at least give it a few nights, Kino. Nonsense, mate. Come on. First night on the town. We're finally out, mate. Look, we can see the stars.
Don't pressure him. It's gonna be alright. He can have some apple juice.
I'll give it some thought, Red Eye. All right.
Let's go.
I'll just link arms with Dr. Knight, just taking her under my proverbial wing.
Under her literal wing.
Yes, exactly.
Norman does the same, and you see a kind
He's
of visible
practically being
scowl.
carried at this point.
Yes, no, her feet are dangling off the ground at this point.
I'll just look over at Norman and just smile. Sorry, I got a little excited, and I'll unlink my arms.
He holds Dr. Knight to himself, like almost like a child that's getting protective over their doll before he sets her down and kind of ushers her along, although they continue to have their hands intertwined.
Also, Caleb was gonna say, also Dr. Knight, does Dr. Knight still have her suit on?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you should be a little less conspicuously dressed?
But how's everyone gonna react when they see, you know?
I mean, look at where we're going.
And we used to travel with a little goblin girl. They're more likely to react to how you are now than to how you
Yeah,
appear.
aren't you usually almost always dressed like that when you're out and about, when most people would see you?
I mean, it's just a uniform to keep me from getting sick, but you make a solid point. Norman, do you mind helping me get out of this? Sure thing.
We could even put it in the bag of holding and you can use it later.
Well, I gotta get changed. Y'all go ahead. I'll meet you inside.
Of course. Follow through when you're ready.
She gives a kind of jittery nod and looks to Norman, who just gently guides her deeper into the forest, out of sight to change.
Should we wait for them? I'm a little worried.
They'll be fine.
I'm
Besides,
sure they can. Gone.
we have very important emotional moments to happen.
Oh.
Let the kids be, Lucian.
Oh, I understand now.
Vincent and a rock sometimes, Lucian.
Speaking of very important emotional events, Caleb's gonna be like, "Come on, we have two brothers to reunite."
Bernard looks down to you with a smile, Caleb, although he does still seem a little apprehensive.
It's okay. What's the worst that could happen?
I've spent maybe a bit too long wondering the same thing myself.
The best thing to do is to not expect it.
Let's just jump right in. I'll be right back with you. And Caleb will grab his father's hand.
As you begin making your way through the gates and into the city, Bernard begins to get more and more nervous. Eventually, by the time you're about halfway there, he starts mumbling to himself, like, I thought I had more time. I thought I would have time to figure out what I was going to say to him, what I would say to them.
It's okay.
As ready as you ever gonna be.
Sometimes it's best not to be overly prepared. Because if you're overly prepared, you can come off very stiff and robotic. Sometimes these things can't be pre-planned.
And when you do pre-plan them, they don't turn out very well. I could say that for when I saw my sister for the first time in a while. I fucked up horribly on that one because I tried to over-prepare.
I mean, I basically threw up when I first saw Lucifer, so
Yeah, mate, let the
just
mistakes
go
of
with
others
it.
be your guiding hand, or whatever. Speaking of stiff, your majesty, know anywhere a guy can have a warm bed for the night?
Doesn't the lodge have beds and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you
That's
worry,
where we're
I've got you
going.
all prepared financial-wise. Everything's on me tonight, you guys.
Rahutai gives you a smile and a small, kind of sarcastic salute. And
We arrive at the Bear's Lodge.
indeed, you are just about outside the door.
Okay. Are you ready?
Maybe we should make sure that's just his brother and daughters in there. Don't want to surprise the whole town with a ghost.
yeah, should one of us go in and just kind of, warn him?
I'll go in first if that's okay.
Right, I think he might need some time to collect himself. Looking to his
I'll-
father as a nervous wreck.
Yeah, I'll go with Mercedes.
Alright. Two of you make your way inside. At this time of night, with the curse on the town lifted, thanks to all you guys' efforts, the Bear's Lodge is always bustling at this time of night. Although, given that some time has passed, while Caleb, you do get several, yes, it's just the elves right now. Nobody pays you guys too much mind, although you do get a couple raised glasses of acknowledgement as you work your way through the crowd of dancers and drinkers. And eventually you find yourself at the bar of Miezdu, who
Yeah,
is wiping down the bar after what appears to be a very busy night, judging from the stains. But he looks to all of you and kind of visibly balks slightly before schooling himself into a neutral expression and beginning to grab cider off of the back shelf. So, the victorious return.
But that
Good to
might
see
want
you.
to wait. We've
Yeah,
got a
you-
surprise for you.
Yeah. You might want to
Well,
get up. And
you
stuff.
and your daughters.
At the mention of his daughters, you can see his expression and posture stiffen significantly. And he slowly looks at the two of you. Never liked surprises.
It's a good surprise.
Yeah,
Promise.
you might change your mind after.
But we were wanting to give you a heads up. There's a lot of people in here. Is there somewhere else where it would be better to meet? Or if we could clear everyone out quickly?
The kitchen. No
Uh,
one but me and the girls.
okay. Lucian, why don't you go outside and let Caleb know to take the surprise around to the kitchen?
We'll do that.
If you're asking me to harbor more fugitives,
Oh, not at all. No fugitives here.
he kind of squints suspiciously, but eventually gives a
promise.
nod.
All right, I'll walk out and I'll just be like, let's take him to the kitchen. I think he's about as ready as he's gonna be.
Alright. Are you ready? Kind of puts, like, holds both of his hands and stuff.
Your friends are right. I'm never gonna be more ready. Yeah, come on, mate. You've been longing for this. Go to them. He takes a deep breath, steels himself, and nods, and allows you all to direct him around the back of the lodge. Caleb, you can see he's looking at the lodge with incredulous eyes, as it's so much larger now than it was then.
Is it different?
Gods. I remember when this was still just an underground fight club.
It was a fight club?
Back in the day. That was before you were
Breaking
born.
the first rule. First rule of Fight Club.
That's where, if you can believe it, that's where your mother and I met.
Hope you didn't meet in the ring.
It wasn't called the Bears Lodge before that match.
Oh no.
I wish I was there. I want to know who won that match.
He kind of gives you a bit of a smirk.
I'm not there. That's why I said I wish I was there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, think of it as stepping into a different kind of ring.
Well, at least this time I know for sure the other guy's not gonna kill me. Shit, maybe. Was he drunk when you talked to him? And he looks to you, Lucian.
I don't think so.
Alright, so I'd say my odds are about 50-50.
I mean, he said he didn't like surprises, but I think that this will be an exception.
Oh, alright, yeah, I'm definitely dead.
We'll protect you.
Don't worry, I'll go in first, so the way he'd have to go through me first.
Your statement kind of seems to resonate with him, or at least knock him out of whatever dark train of thought he was going down, as he kind of visibly stabilizes a bit and puts his hand, his warm hand on your shoulder. And no, he's my brother. Just gotta tear the bandage off.
You want to do like a... You want me to go in first real quick?
just make sure they're sitting down, I guess.
Alright, Caleb will enter first. Uncle Miez?
Entering into the kitchen, you see What's-Is and Miezdu, and shortly after your entry, the Bladovich sisters enter in. It appears they weren't working tonight, as they are currently in their pajamas, and they seem kind of tired as they rub at their eyes. And
Sorry to wake you two, but this is very important.
wait, you're back.
Yes. And we made some important discoveries where we went.
I'll see. I'm sorry that you had to find out that way.
Not quite. And Caleb will kind of look back to the door to see if his father's coming in yet.
He doesn't appear to be entering yet. You imagine he's likely waiting for some kind of signal.
Caleb, shit, I didn't talk about a signal. Caleb will, maybe just give the door a knock.
Can I just push him in?
Absolutely. There's a knock, and Lucian, you see Bernard is hesitating, so you impatiently shove him through the doorway. And as the rest of you file in after, silence reigns in the bear's kitchen.
Surprise!
Surprise! I use thaumaturgy to do confetti. Little sparklers.
Caleb just do you actually do that?
Yes.
Caleb's just we didn't.
Yes, I'm
really
just
need
trying to
that
lighten the
now. This is
mood.
Look, there's a time to lighten the mood, and there's a time to let things sit.
Either way.
The rogues simply all stare at one
quick.
another for a long moment.
It's just so quiet. Lucy's just standing there this is awkward.
Eventually, Bernard and Miezdu approach each other. Looking between them, you would never guess that they're brothers.
Well,
Completely
one has
different
been in
hair.
a prison cell for a while.
Well, just also they naturally look very different. But as they kind of size each other up, you look good, Mies. Where have you been? They said they were Mybastrom. Yeah. You can see one of the sisters, the older of the two, approaches and takes the metallic arm in hers and kind of looks over it curiously.
Caleb is very close during all this, by the way.
Mm-hmm. What did they do to you? They tried to make me into a slave. Kill people for them. But you didn't break. I'll never break. After a tense moment, Miezdu finally lets out a low sound that you initially don't quite recognize before you realize he's chuckling. And yeah, that sounds about like you stubborn bastard. He holds out his hand. Bernard takes it in his, and the two of them share a brotherly embrace, quickly joined by the Bladovich sisters.
Caleb obviously will join too.
I'm gonna take everybody else and just kind of help them out of the kitchen. Just let them have their little moment.
Yeah, What's-His will happily go.
That boy of yours is a fucking miracle worker. raising the dead? I'd hope that's not where his talents end out. You don't know the half of it. If I can ask, what exactly were you doing? I thought I told you to take care of him. I did. But after you were gone, the king asked after him. I figured better to be raised like a blue blood than floundering down here with the rest of us. Floundering? I don't understand. Things have changed. We've all changed. Bernard looks to the sisters sadly, and you can see a frown grow on his face. I'm sorry, girls. I missed you growing up. They pull him into a hug, and you're still family. The dwarves can't take that from us.
Neither could the king, despite his efforts.
I'm gonna kill that bastard when I get my hands on him. You're a bit late to the party on that one, or at the very least you'll have to get in line.
Since we're all here, there was something I needed to discuss with my father as well. I guess it's not something that couldn't be discussed as a family too. I don't know if you were able to put how I have a connection to Dr. Knight together. Did you, Father?
Gathered enough. But when did you? I swear to God, if the king put his hands on you.
Well, from what Dr. Knight told me, he didn't do it himself, but he did order it.
You can see Bernard's metallic fist kind of whine and creak as he clenches his metallic fingers.
How are the others taking that?
Judging from their expressions, it was something they already suspected. Hell, you yourself had shared that theory before it was even confirmed.
Which is why, after learning so much about how he planned your mother's death and your capture, how he was disappointed, so tried to have me changed. The way he turned on us as soon as any trouble faced him. This is why I pursue his position. I'm determined that our king cannot be trusted with the power he is given. He would trade the lives of every Tibetan if it suited him. That's why when I once didn't even want it, I just wanted a family. But now, there's nothing I have wanted more in my life. Especially now that the other thing I so desperately wanted has been completed. Hugging his father again.
He looks down to you and smiles as he runs a hand through your hair. Thanks, son, but you didn't need to get a shell of a man out of the underground to do that. I think you figured that one out for yourself somewhere along the way.
Probably so. But with Dr. Knight providing at the very least, a possible way to stop the king from dying, knowing the king's tendency, I could probably easily trade his life for his position. I'd still have Summer to contend with, is the problem.
Bernard scowls, and if they get in our way, they go in the ground. You deserve to have that throne, and I'm gonna make sure you get it. Bernard, this is the problem. You're home. You're with your family. Let that be enough.
I have to agree that I don't think killing would be my first solution to this problem.
After everything that man did to you. He tried to take away my son. Not once, but twice.
I know what he did. I know it too well. But if I take this throne by simply killing everyone that gets in my way, I wouldn't be any better than him.
Between you and his brother, he looks between the two of you with darting eyes before finally simply sighing and... All right. But I don't want him having anything to do with our family. Once we're on the throne, he's out. I don't care where he goes, I don't care what he does. But he can't stay here.
That was going to be part of my terms, that the king and queen must leave. I will let them go wherever they wish, and I will assure them for appearances to the people. I will assure them that they will have the means to live out whatever years they have left. It would be quite strange if the people saw me suddenly banishing our first king. And revealing the king's crimes to the people could create violence that we could not control. And thus should be considered only a last resort. I'm sure they will start to ask questions when people start to recognize you.
Caleb's right. Stay here with me and the girls. There's a lot's changed, and we can't have a ghost walking around stirring up more trouble. I can pass unseen if I need to. I know you can, but please, if not for me, if not for your nieces, then for your son. All right, Bear. All right. You have my word. I won't leave this place until it's safe. But if my boy's in danger, you're gonna have to go. I'll go through you if I have to. You really think I wouldn't be there with you? That does pull a visibly shocked reaction from Bernard, who kind of furrows his brow and... Shit, you're right. Things have changed around here.
I guess I should tell you what I've done so far. I started building support amongst the people. While I was gone, I had, you remember Dimitri, right?
That little rat.
What is your problem with him? Miazdu doesn't mind him.
Miazdu likes everybody, Caleb. Miazdu kind of quirks a brow at this, but does not contradict him. he's up to something. You can tell he's not like our family. He's a schemer.
Never known him to. Well, I mean, we're all thieves, so we all scheme to some extent, but I've really known him to be that way. I don't think. Can Caleb think of anything?
Roll history.
History +7, dirty 20.
As far as you can recall, the worst you've ever gotten from him is that he certainly sees the world in a very unorthodox way. He's a very curious kid, but beyond that, you've never known him to be particularly manipulative or schemy.
He has his own way of looking at things. Wait, hold on, bad phrasing.
You can see that does get a smirk out of the Vladovich sisters and pretty much everyone present.
But, like, you've always had a problem with him, even when we were very little.
Oh no. He kind of rubs at his face. I'm sorry, I shouldn't. We can't be having this conversation right now.
The Caleb insight.
Roll insight.
I got a 19.
As far as you can tell, he just seems tired. He's been in that cell for years. He's stretching his legs for the first time. He's basically walked a marathon for the rest of the afternoon, and now he's dealing with the emotional difficulty of the current conversation.
Well, I think my father needs to rest. He's probably enjoying being in a building that's actually properly sized for him.
I almost forgot what it was like not having a duck to go through doorways. Any chance I could? I don't doubt the old place has been taken over for something stupid. Yes, can I? Your family, you're always welcome here. You and your son both. And I hope you know I did everything I could. I'm glad you think so, mate. Mind if a friend of mine stays here with me? Friend. He was my cellmate in my room. He's a friend. If you trust him, I trust him. You can see the sisters both look to each other, and Caleb, you hear them mumble back and forth in Thieves' Cant, which the little snippets of their conversation are able to pick up. Just like, you think he has any good prison stories? No, you ask him. Is it true what they say about the soap?
Because everyone in this room knows Thieves' Cant, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm, yep.
Yet you act like it's something secret whenever you use it.
Dad, Caleb's dropping Eves. Don't drop Eves in the kitchen, Caleb. Hey, wait, he's my son. Maybe I want him dropping Eves. My bar, my rules.
Yeah, well, the twins are dropping more than Eves.
Okay, but is it true what they say about the soap, though? Well, actually, it's kind of a funny story that... Nope. He grabs you by the arm, Caleb, and kind of tugs you towards the door. Your friends need drinks.
Caleb also asked me as to... I know he sometimes is here, but, you know, speaking of him, is Dimitri here right now? I might need to check with him.
Comes by occasionally, but it's a bit late.
Very well.
I'll send the girls to find him in the morning.
Okay, in the morning I have to What's you have you run a tavern, so you probably have pretty. What's the how has the campaigning been going?
And I'll say at this point, you're through the door. Those of you at the bar, you're mostly left to your own devices. Is there anything you would wish to have said or done during the time of the conversation?
Not them to come back to start drinking.
So she can get some of that Star Blast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if you need Star Blast, Watson has that. I got like
Yeah.
flask worth.
Yeah,
of
He's
that.
very quiet.
Might need to turn him up. He's okay on my end.
Okay.
But let's start that addiction up, man.
Yeah, restart that addiction, you know. Now she's got magic. She can cure it whenever she wants.
She had magic before.
Yeah, but she didn't have that magic.
As Miezdu pulls Caleb into the bar, you can hear the two of them talking about the progress of the Tebadra campaign and Caleb's potential coronation as king. As Miezdu guides Caleb to sit alongside the rest of you and begins grabbing drinks for everyone.
I imagine.
Did Caleb
explain how
coming in
magic
draw any
works.
attention?
You can see quite a few people raising their glasses to you and giving cheers and thieves' cant, but nobody comes up to you to bug you.
All right.
As for that, well, you heard a deer, and he gestures to those who have been cheering and kind of yells over the din, just free drinks once my girls are available. One of the thieves kind of raises their mug and, you're a djembe. Things are going well for you. I don't know what exactly it is you promised them, but you're popular. Given time...
Caleb promise anything?
Basically just you would be different than the king, who's a shitbag.
Well, that doesn't take much.
Yeah, the only promise I really made is to do better by Tebadra.
He kind of gives you a smile and pats you on the shoulder as he slides everyone some cider. Not much you've already done. You
Has
can
there
see-
been any reactions from the queen and such?
No one's seen her in weeks.
Before I start drinking, do you guys want me to, play I Spy?
That's up to the Tebadran boys.
Yeah, I was gonna say as she turns to Caleb. That's
It
your
would
call.
be easier to deal with her than the king who has been reduced to a babbling idiot. I wouldn't imagine what I'd have to do to get anything out of the king at this point.
I'm gonna need room.
Alright. Lucian, do you wish to scry on Queen Tebadra?
Yeah. I'm going to get out some of my holy water, and I will touch my holy symbol, and I will.
Okay. While that's
Turns out
happening,
she's already made it to the lady in white. Like, well,
That would be hilarious, to be honest.
I mean, we have to see if it works still first.
alright, what spell slot is scry, just so I can double check?
Fifth.
There it is. I found it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alright.
You have to make a save.
Yep, the target must make a wisdom saving throw, which I will do now.
They have a -5 modifier because I know the target well.
I
while
will.
that's happening.
Well, you
What's
could increase your chances of getting it if this doesn't win. If you, from the other stuff, the knowledge. If you have a piece of her, then you get like a
Yeah, I'll ask
negative.
Caleb. I'll ask Caleb. Do you have anything of hers?
I don't think he does, unless the ring counts.
The ring is technically the king's. How about you, Zephyr? Do you have anything of hers?
Don't know why it would.
All right. Lucian, you expand your scrying eye, focusing on what you know of the woman as you attempt to find wherever she has gone.
Is she made aware that someone is scrying on her because she has to make a save?
No, it's invisible.
On a successful save, the target just isn't affected and you can't use it again for 24 hours.
On that target. I can use it on somebody else, though.
The only change is that if they know you're casting it, they can voluntarily fail to save if they want to be seen.
Yeah.
But that being said, while she's casting that, Miezdu looks to you, Caleb, and you see him reach for a drink before his fingers kind of twitch inward, and he pulls his hand away and looks back to you. Thank you.
Yes, but... Oh. Of course. I told you it's something I had to do.
Sometimes the things we have to do are things we can't. But even I'm starting to run out of things you can't do. I'm sorry. I know I wasn't the father I should have been.
No. It's fine. There's nothing to be sorry for. You did what everyone thought was best at the time. None of us knew just how little the king could care.
He kind of mumbles to himself for a moment before... I took your family away from you, and you brought mine back to me. I won't forget that. You have my word. And he, kind of leaning over the bar, pulls you in for an embrace, and you notice that at no point does he go for a drink or a cigar. For the first night in years, potentially, he is completely sober.
Makes you wonder what kind of deal he made with himself.
Did you make some kind of promise to the gods?
Never been much for that sort of thing. It doesn't matter. He's home. You're home.
And our family might be going to heights it has never seen before.
You can see at this, Miezdu looks a bit uncomfortable and leans over the bar to you. Caleb, I believe in you. I trust you. I know if you want to do this, you will, and you can. If nothing else, you've shown me that you're so damn stubborn you'll overcome whatever the world throws at you. You and your friends all. But you have family that will miss you if you're gone. Please, just... I can already see that spark in him. He can't sit still. He has to do more. know you'll do what's best, but please, don't forget that you need to be safe, to look out for yourself. You can't fight forever.
I know. But this is a fight I feel I have to fight.
I
And there's
thought you
another
would say
fight
that.
after that too.
There
But-
always is.
Hopefully, after that fight, at least for a while, there will be no more fights for a while. For a spell. At least nothing this major. Obviously, Tabaja is always in a fight.
Well, it happened to the Mlusians and the Ergosians. Maybe with you in charge, that can change. If this is what you want, I'll support you. But please be safe.
I want you to know that I do this because I love Tabaja. I love what it could be, what it is. And I want it to grow, not wither with a withering king.
You sound just like him.
But as you said, he would be calling for us to simply storm that damn castle right now.
Maybe some of me rubbed off after all. And he tousles your hair and gives you a kind smile.
Maybe I could be the best of both of you. My
Well,
father's
just like-
stubbornness with your temperedness.
Let's hope you don't inherit the worst of us too. And he kind of almost instinctually reaches for a drink, but kind of realizes what he's doing and pushes it out of his reach.
Maybe you
Oh,
need
he's
something
trying
to,
so hard.
maybe you need some like alternative drink.
Oh,
Something to fill the heart with. Something that's not, you know.
I'll spend that time with them. At this point, the door to the kitchen's open, and you see Bernard exit carrying one of the Vladovich sisters, you still can't tell which, in his metallic arm, as she looks over it curiously, and the other one walking by his side, kind of babbling happily. And Caleb, you can see that they have given him some slight makeup to at least attempt to disguise his identity to some degree. It's a bit of a rush job, but he seems to be being good-natured about it.
Caleb just looks to him like, it's not as bad as the way you found me that one night when you let me stay over.
He kind of rolls his eyes, and it's nice to see that your girls never quite grew out of the dolls phase, Miz. Miezdu kind of gives a bit of a snort, and after so many years with your boy, they're probably excited for a new toy. Does this come off? And she starts kind of pulling at the arm.
Next thing you know, they're gonna like put stickers on it.
Caleb gets a little bit of a grin and looks to her like, I don't think those comes off, but his come off, looking at Whats's.
You can see both sisters perk their heads up and look in Whats's direction in this terrifying unison. What's you feel like you're being surveyed by a group of jackals.
Yeah, go for it, and I'll even demonstrate.
As the girls promptly begin entertaining themselves with your prosthetics, them even like, one of them takes one off and then starts kind of whacking the other one with it like an action figure karate chop.
Just don't break it or yourselves, please. I've only got the one. Well, two.
we're not gonna break it. And as she waves your arm around, its palm like changes positions to imitate hers. And the other one gives a grin. And I don't know about each other though. We are, after all. And they both at the same time leaning into each other, armed. And they high five each other with the prosthetics.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
You know what? I might need to make a Constitution saving throw.
It's good to be back.
So I don't have arms right now. Give myself alcohol, because somebody else, like, I definitely need to drink after that bad joke.
I've got you, mate.
Yeah, natural 18.
That sounds like Hunter here for this, you know.
What?
Sounds like you're here for this. The bad jokes.
Yeah. I thought that was your job to make that kind of joke.
Your dad kind of looks to you and quirks a bit of a brow, and
They call them dad jokes.
what do you want? What do you want me to start popping them off willy-nilly? Gotta use those responsibly. And he helps What's-His with his drinking, but and he places the glass down and slides it towards you. I could always give it a shot.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
There it goes.
As he begins launching into a tirade of dad jokes, Miezdu kind of groaning, and you can see him kind of reconsidering the drink for a minute. But eventually...
You're actually going to drive him back to drinking.
Oh, come on, Miez, you're better than that. And I thought you were better than that. That barely qualifies as a joke to begin with.
Well, he's a little rusty, I guess you could say.
Oh, hey, yes, do you get it? Barely?
Guys, I'm trying to cast a spell here.
Yes, just trying to cast a spell. That means be quiet.
My joke was actually pretty good.
No, they weren't.
Well,
I
I
guess
said
we'll have
rusty, because he's got a metal arm like me.
I know.
What's his? We gotta be quiet for a spell.
Lucian just looks over at him like a little side eye. I will hurt you.
Do one of the sisters like bap him with one of the arms?
Yes, they both start like kind of beating against What's-His back using his own arms as again like action figure karate chops.
How hard? Or is it like one of those like massages?
It's like a very slow massage.
Oh. Okay.
He's like, a little lower, please.
Oh, I could never reach this spot. Thanks.
One of them changes position so it's whacking against the back of your head.
Oh.
He's got a crick in his neck.
You are so weird.
You
You
say
don't-
that as you are literally playing with somebody's arms.
You don't know the half of it.
Well, most people's arms don't come off that easy. And when they do, it's a lot of screaming.
It's completely armful.
Oddly specific.
No, bad. And then she continues to bap you on the head with your arm. What's this? Lucian, through the dad jokes and the drinking, you scry. You feel your spell begin to take hold. The vision before you begins to uncloud. Before you lose it.
Really?
She just barely passed the save.
She actually got a couple over what she needed, but yeah, she succeeded the save.
I'll just kind of frown at that and just shift uncomfortably, looking a little irritated. And I should have known that she would be a little more difficult.
Assuming she's still like how she was when I knew her, you're never gonna find that woman unless she wants to be found. She
Don't
could be.
you dare. Not you.
You can always just message her, see if she responds.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
you
met.
met the queen once, right?
I've met her several times. I will send her a message.
Tell her that.
Go ahead.
Tell her that Caleb has a way to fix the king. Or no. Tell her Caleb has a way to make sure the king doesn't die.
She kind of looks a little offended by that.
Why?
Well, he's the one trying to get thrown, so.
I mean,
Well, he's
I-
also not guaranteeing his life, or not guaranteed what he'll become.
yeah, she's just like, it's not like 100%.
Okay.
Like,
That's why
Maybe
he
we should
ordered.
wait. Let's see what Dr. Knight has to say.
I will.
And then we'll send the message.
No. I know what to say. I will send a message to the
Well-
Queen of Tipitron.
Getting her here would be preferable. But
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say to her, we have traveled very far in the last, few months. And we have some information for you about saving your husband. Please, meet us, and I'll look over at Caleb.
Let's meet in. Does the castle have like a front courtyard? Matthew?
It's a bit on the small side, but technically yes.
Let's say there's a. Let's meet in the castle's courtyard.
If you would kindly meet us in the courtyard in the castle. And she kind of like whispers to Caleb, how long should I give her?
As long as she needs to get back.
Don't worry about the time frame. We'll be here. And that will be my message.
There's a pause, and you don't actually hear a voice respond to you. It's more like you almost just get these instinctive thoughts in your head. But you do get a response.
oh yeah, 'cause she doesn't have a voice.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
don't they still have like a mental voice?
Please be nice.
Well, you gotta have a voice and know what your voice will sound like to have a mental voice.
And also, I mean, I think you say it out loud, or is it mentally?
Yeah, and plus, I didn't want it to come off like it was like, oh, but this is her true voice. Like, no, even psychically, she's mute. Lucian, you get a response. You said you could fix him last time, and you lied to me. Why should I believe you now?
I'll kind of smile. I will cast it again. Because this time, we have an expert.
Let me guess. A magical alchemist who can solve all our problems?
How many of these do I even have? Let's see. I'm trying to keep track. Okay, I can do it again. I will just be like, the answer might surprise you. Just meet us and we can talk.
If she doesn't agree to it after that, let me tell you what to tell her.
We're gonna be told that at least most of us will come unarmed. That'll give her more incentive.
The
Good
one of
luck
his
to the
sisters giggle a
trap.
bit as they continue to hold your arms.
Yes.
What
Not
did she say?
entirely
Lucy?
on that.
I guess that would really make you armless, wouldn't it?
Has she responded yet?
No.
Yeah, indeed, there is a bit of a delay, Lucian. But this time, after a delayed thought, she
No.
responds. I'll be there in a week. But this is your last chance.
Alright, I'll relay the message to the group and I'll just add, she doesn't scare me.
You probably
She
should.
doesn't?
Not whenever we hold the ship that she desperately needs.
Exactly.
What is it exactly that you have?
Magic.
It
Well,
can
kind of.
make it to where the king will not die from this. Though it doesn't fully get rid of it. That we don't know how to do yet, but the king will certainly live and will be more or less himself.
You can see Yezdu kind of raises his eyebrows, but kind of gives a slow nod, seeming to actually be fairly okay with this plan. The Vladovich sisters kind of look to each other a bit uncertain. Bernard, for his part, just scowls.
And if not, well, it seems like I'm slowly building the means to simply take it from them, whether they want me to or not. I hope it doesn't come to that. It would be a lot more messy than I wanted this to be.
Well, if she touches a hair on your pretty head, I will make sure that she will not be standing anymore.
Hopefully you could stop her.
I'll look over at Zephyr. I'll try.
I mean, yes, you could certainly try.
I'm sure we all would try.
Oh no, would you fight the possibly most dangerous person in Tibeja for me, Father?
I think we'd have to fight him to get him not to.
The only person in Tibeja more dangerous than you, son, is me.
Lucian just gives a big grunt. And anyway, you're like family.
I'll keep you safe from the old witch, don't you worry. And if you really want this to end peaceful-like, then, well, that's what we'll do.
I mean, let's be honest, Father. What are we in Tibeja? We're thieves. And what do thieves do when fights break out?
Run.
If we start fighting some kind of civil war in Tibeja, there probably wouldn't be a Tibeja left.
Well, if things go way too south, we can always, teleport out.
I would rather it not come to that.
Well, it's good to have a backup plan.
This place is our birthright. We've worked for this kingdom, bled for this kingdom. We deserve to have one of us on the throne.
That is why I want to. That's why I prefer peace, because I think at this point it seems I do have a majority of people, but there are still the hardliners and, the richer people who always support the king and queen.
Even if the king handed it over, there's gonna be people who don't like it. You're not the birth child, and I don't imagine Summer's gonna just hand it to you.
Oh, she will.
There's one issue I
made
was
a
going to
deal.
address in the week it's going to take the queen to get here. I have some suspicions about what Summer really wants versus what she thinks she wants.
Getting inside her head. Good boy. He smiles and pats you on the shoulder. Well, with you at the helm, I'm sure we'll be just fine.
Yeah, she was actually the one I spent the most time with in my stay in the castle.
I hope she treated you well.
Yeah, in her own way. Given I don't know how much about the plot she knew.
He kind of smirks a little bit, but turns his attention to over his shoulder. You see that at this point, Kino has entered the bar and kind of waves at all of you and leans over Bernard to look to Miezdu. Hi, mate. You met my little friend here? They say he's the king around these parts. Not yet.
Working on it.
Well. Yeah, heir to the throne, king, consort, whatever he is. Done enough to get a friend of his a drink. Miezdu kind of looks to you, Caleb, and raises a brow.
It's gonna be like, well, I guess it's kind of ultimately up to him, but I'm sure my uncle might be feeling generous tonight.
Miezdu initially kind of bristles, but Bernard waves his metallic hand towards Miezdu, and it's all right. This is the friend I told you about. He took care of me while I was in there. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have made it back. At this, Miezdu and the Platoviches both turn their attention to him fully. And
Are they like
Miezdu-
sizing him up?
Partially, but also you get the impression from how he talks, it's very rare for Bernard to admit that he ever relied on someone else. A friend of my brother's is a friend of mine. Welcome to the family. Ah, you're a doll, mate. And he looks at the Vladovich sisters and kind of gives them a wink.
Careful there. They're sharper than they look. Couldn't handle those two.
But one of them leans on his shoulder, the other taking up position on the opposite. You're welcome to try. I like it here. You got a good family, Benny.
Benny?
Bernard kind of smiles a bit awkwardly and rubs the back of his head.
It was like, if I didn't know better.
Bernard kind of tilts his head to you. What's that?
Oh, you two just seem very chummy.
Both of their expressions kind of harden slightly. The Vladimir sisters kind of feeling things cool, kind of back off of Kino as he slaps on the counter for a drink and knocks it back. It's like the underworld in there, mate. They beat you down until you break. Me, I had something to keep me going. Every day that I stayed alive meant that there was at least one of us left. I didn't know until you guys told me that Kara made it out. Everyone else, well, the quack took them one by one, till it was just me. Bernard kind of heaves a sigh, and once I got in, well, whoever you were on the outside didn't matter. The things I wanted to achieve, the son I wanted to get back to, it didn't matter. Rank, blood, didn't matter. Who would have thought it'd be somebody from a completely different continent, and a commoner at that, who saves my life? Caught one of the other inmates trying to cave Benny's head in. I bailed him out. Made sure he knew to trust us good folk. We may not have the blue blood like he does, but blue's the first type of blood to get spilled in a war, mate. And he kind of nods to all of you. He clearly thinks he's spilling some real wisdom.
Yeah, Lucian doesn't look convinced at all.
Yeah, it is true.
After a while, well, all of his friends were gone, and I didn't have a way out. We sat there for hours in our cell, drawing up escape plans, talking about what we'd do once we got out. Me, I just wanted to go home and get my throne back. Ray, he's got a stronger spirit than me. He and I wanted the same thing, so we stuck it out together.
Well,
But
remember how I told you back in the prison that even though your friends are gone, they're still here? I don't mean in a spiritual sense. Your friends are the reason that we're here. How we're even still alive. Dr. Knight used them to bring us back, including Caleb and
I mentioned
Zephyr.
to you about Dr. Knight's experiments, right, Father?
you can see both of them look shocked, but Burner just kind of dimly, slowly nods his head. You mean to tell me?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can go.
No, you continue. This is important. I can tell.
Okay. You mean to tell me that when that quack tore apart my friends, she stuffed their bits into you?
Yeah, I know it's not the best, but
Caro, she figured it out too, didn't she?
she did. And I won't say she was okay with it, but she accepted it for what it was, unable to change it.
At least for now.
And
Maybe
if we
one of the
can figure
solutions to this problem could involve being able to put things back the way that, at least some semblance, the way they were.
But
it, they're going to try to figure out how to separate and then bring them back if it's even possible.
and you're just okay with this? After everything that woman did to you, to us, you're just gonna let her walk away?
We're going to allow her to redeem herself. I'm a soldier. You're
We're
a
going to give her the
mercenary.
opportunity, at least.
We've killed countless amounts of people. We should, for our own fact of that, be dead again ourselves.
And
But let's
if it,
let her redeem herself.
I don't
and if,
believe.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you first.
Oh, I was just gonna add, and if it makes you feel better, everything has its time.
He takes another drink and points at you with the shot glass. What's his? I don't believe in redemption, mate. I believe in karma.
Well, it may
Let us
come.
do its job.
He
But
looks
for
to you,
now,
Caleb.
she serves a purpose.
Serves a purpose. And
Once
he
that
takes another
purpose,
drink.
once that purpose is past, well, whatever may come.
What goes around comes around.
And around and around and around.
Bernie, let's say we head upstairs and bunk up, mate. Maybe you can give me the grand tour of this place. Always talking about it. Hard time I got to see it for myself. I would, but my son says I'm not to leave. Oh, you're taking orders from him now? He's a little point. Look at him.
He's quite strong, actually.
Believe me, our no size doesn't mean everything. Back when I knew her, Kara was about half your size and still twice as good of a shot.
I miss her.
I was the one who put the shot in that Tropu's head.
Yeah, but he would have given her a run for her money.
Well,
I miss
then,
her.
I'm something of a marksman myself, mate. Seems like you and I would get along just fine.
A marksman, huh?
Aye.
As long as you plan to use this for something decent, I'll pass him one of the laser rifles.
He kind of frowns a bit and holds up his hands, and you can see Bernard start to kind of chuckle into his palm. No, mate. I don't do guns.
This isn't a gun.
Look,
Technically, it is.
Bernard kind of leans forward. Before he makes too much of an ass of himself, let me fill in the blanks. You remember what he said just now? What goes around comes around?
Yes.
Oh. Understood. And he'll put it back.
Karma's own weapon, mate. Seems fitting to me.
Fair enough.
Also, Caleb's kind of look to his father and Kino and be like, "Oh, I see. By the way, I see how it is. Bunking up, huh?"
Kino kind of waves at you dismissively and just, nothing like that, mate. Kino don't swing that way. Well, yeah. Maybe if he was a particularly attractive guy, but I could do better than Bernie. Yeah, fuck off! And what, like I can't do better than a scrubby jackass like you?
Caleb, I see where you get it from.
A scrubby jackass.
It's it's just more of a habit we've developed. It's our first night on the outside. Wow, it still feels weird to say that out loud. And we haven't spent a night apart from each other for safety reasons in years. I've seen what happens to people who get out of the clink and try to get out of their routines too fast. It makes their minds get all fucky.
It doesn't. It's pretty hard to readjust to civilian life.
That is why you're better off staying here. But the Bladovich sisters, for their part, kind of following the conversation as best they can and kind of looking to each other. One of them pipes up, looking at all of you curiously, and... Wait a second. You said you have something that can fix it. You didn't kill her. This doctor... Did you bring her here?
Maybe.
Not entirely.
They let out a string of swears in Russian, and Miezdu nearly knocks a bottle off the shelf and has to catch it before the smashing draws attention to all of you.
But she means well. She's not in a city currently.
Yeah, she's in the forest, changing her appearance a bit. Possibly she took the time to scout around as well.
And she
But she is
fixed
important
us.
for the plan.
She took care of our self-destructing problem.
Ben, you are... I'm the furthest thing from fine with it, but my son thinks it's best, and I think it's time to let him try. Kino kind of chuckles and mumbles under his breath, but just knocks back another drink, seeming equally disfond of the decision.
It has been quite a while, though, don't you guys think, looking to the party?
I
How
can
long
go
has
look
it been?
for if y'all want.
Matthew,
What's that?
how long has it been?
It's been about an hour at this point.
I guess maybe. How long does it? How far away were they?
Not
They were,
very.
yeah, I was gonna say they were about like maybe 10, 15 minutes away from the city.
You go look for them.
I got it.
I was going to volunteer.
And I will head out with my rocket boots to go look for the little goblin and the elf. Well,
Okay.
goblin and Candy Coo.
Wouldn't it be funny if like he opens the door to leave and they're right there?
I'm gonna go up in my room.
What's his roll? I'll say roll investigation, and we'll circle back to you. In the meantime, with Lucian heading up and What's his heading out, Kino kind of leans away from the bar and stands up, kind of shaky after 4 shots. All right, I think the party's over. Come on, Benny. You, suit guy. I have a name. Yeah, I bet you do. Mind sending a few drinks up for me and Benny? Medicine to get us through the night, you see. Bernard kind of smiles and puts an arm around Kino's shoulders, and sorry about him. Although, some drinks would be nice, yes. Fine.
I do want to do something, so just let you know.
Alright. But I warn you, Benny. Your friend better keep his hands off my daughters. He's just joking around. You were joking, right? Yeah, I can do better. Besides, I'm busy.
Oh, worse.
Excuse me.
That is not something you should say to that.
Yeah, it's just like, excuse me.
You can see both of the twins kind of raise their brows and look to each other. Not even offended, just scheming.
Yep, well then it fucked up.
Oh wait, the girls did give him back his arms before he left, right?
Yeah, well, they haven't left yet anyway. But yes.
No, I mean before
Well,
he left.
Yes, they
asked for his
will
arms.
give you back your arms reluctantly. They seem like they've had their fun with them anyway.
You just leave without your arms, like. Yeah.
All right, Zephyr, Caleb, any final things from you during the night, or rather before you settle in for it?
Yeah. So, what is he doing?
Who?
Oh,
Oh, I see.
yeah. Father doing.
He, for his part, seemed to have fallen asleep during the journey, and has simply curled up against you for warmth and slept.
Do reptiles give off warmth?
No, but especially when they're younger, it's not uncommon for them to bundle up in groups like that. But it also seems like he's pretty reluctant to be apart from Zephyr. He turned down being carried specifically because of that.
Interesting. But yeah, Caleb doesn't really have anything else. But he does seem a bit disappointed with his father bunking with Kino. He's been away from him so long, he kind of wanted to be around him a little longer.
Well, on the bright side, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, Caleb just... Okay.
Alright. And what's his investigation?
18.
As you head out and begin to rocket over the city. At this point, the Tevagers have gotten fairly used to you doing that, so they basically just treat it as a signal like, oh, they're back. And it doesn't take you long.
Loud?
Yes, very. And as you fly over the city, it doesn't take you very long, actually. You see Dr. Knight in civilian garbs, simple black robes that do not look out of place for a doctor, but could easily be mistaken for someone of religious importance. Her goblin head simply left on display, although her wings are covered. And her and Norman are walking through the streets, looking just kind of lost. You realize they probably just had no idea where you guys went, and were trying to find you.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, we didn't
I
think
will
that
go to
part
them.
through.
Sorry, guys. Forgot you didn't know your way around this city. It's been a long day.
Yeah, tell me about it. But on the bright side, I found mushrooms.
Ooh, what kind?
We munch on one of the mushrooms.
It's not for
Poison?
food or for recreation. It's for medicine.
Yeah, it's like a fallback or what the beginning of the
Okay,
campaign.
that's good.
The way she had said that, I found mushrooms.
It's like that first or it's like at the beginning of the campaign where
Yeah. Inspiration, Austin. Good spot.
It's like the beginning of the campaign.
Zephyr,
Greylock.
what's his and Lucian went.
that was Greylock went to go get mushrooms for my sister,
Oh yeah, remember that.
which actually went on to my future thing.
But
I was
yes,
touching on that for a minute.
But at the beginning of this campaign, they went and got mushrooms.
yeah, they went scavenging with her for herbs.
Now, it has occurred to me that you will need to go by a different name while you're here.
We've already got the aliases.
Yep, I was just about to remind you of that, Jer.
Oh, and we could always say that he's my cousin, being an elf and all.
Well, and you see them both kind of fidget and blush, and
Oh, what do y'all have planned?
well, I'm still gonna need his help for the research as my assistant until
Of course.
he's ready to leave.
Mhm.
So that's not a bad idea, but we thought it might be suspicious if someone, a known associate of you, was hanging around with someone like me all the time. And I'm not planning on going nowhere, but in case someone hears me or stumbles across me, I was thinking until this gets figured out, we are Mr. and Mrs. Marula.
Yay! I knew that. I knew it. I knew it.
Nice. And what jobs will y'all be claiming, just so I can make sure we pass on to the others, so we don't have any slip of tongue?
That's the easy part. We know how to make potions. We know how to collect herbs. We'll be the town doctors, chemists, alchemists, whatever you need. I find
so-
everything. He's got the face to sell it.
Traveling doctors. Got it.
That's the idea. Now, for now, do you have somewhere we can bunk for the night?
Yeah. Come with me. I'll show you. And I'll even
Hey.
put y'all up for a few nights until y'all start making money on your own.
Thank you, sweetie.
Now, I will also warn you, the guy that we're going to does know that your previous name is in the area. They weren't overly excited, but they will allow it.
She gives a
Because
kind
of
of
Caleb.
nervous grin. Well, send Caleb my thanks in case I don't see him.
I will make sure he knows. But since we're introducing you to them as Mr. and Mrs. Marula, it shouldn't be a problem.
My God, Gil, tell them I can legally marry them.
They are not ready
Who's
for that
Gil?
right now, Lucian.
I'm not even there. I'm just saying it out of character.
All right, what's his? You start escorting them back.
Surprised
Caleb-
Austin didn't beat me to it.
And even then, Amanda, she's a necromancer. She would want to preside over their funeral than a marriage.
So wait a minute. You're saying that necromancers can't be in relationships?
Well,
Wait,
Is that what
what does that have to do with
yeah,
it?
like,
Just saying they
Yeah, I
shouldn't.
don't have the authority to officiate marriages yet either, but I can date all I want.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they can't properly
I can.
raise a
No.
family.
I was like,
Unless
that's
they're raising that
Raise
family
a
from the
family, I'm a
dead.
necromancer.
You can raise a child in the sense that you can raise them from the grave.
Yeah, no. I literally just said that. It's like, yeah, I can raise a family. I'm a necromancer.
God, I have a player character necromancer I want to run someday with that exact gag being the concept. Anyway, Caleb, I heard you saying something earlier. Did you have something, or are you good?
I kept forgetting Caleb wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
I
And
was gonna say
Lucian,
that.
go on.
I was gonna say that. I think Caleb will probably stay up to wait for Gia. Or fuck. Now you got me doing it.
Yeah.
Wait for What's to come back with the doctor.
Okay. And Lucian, you said you had something?
Yes.
What would you like to do as you head up to your room?
I want to make sure everybody got to do what they wanted to do.
Well, you have the floor.
All
Are
right.
you gonna talk to Lucifer?
Not exactly.
Are you gonna talk to Sun Dragon?
I'm going to set up another scrying.
Oh, she's gonna scry Lucifer.
Not exactly.
You're gonna scry
Tell
Sun
us what you're
Dragon.
gonna do then.
I am going to scry on the Alephakir Manor.
I was gonna scry on a place. Does a place make a save?
I think just it's.
No,
Yes.
it just
No, they
that-
don't specify, but I think
yeah,
I
it
think it's
doesn't specify.
weird. Technically, it's weird and interesting because I'm like, if
Oh,
someone has,
yeah. Well, yeah, it does say you can see and hear a particular creature. Mansion is not a creature.
no, you can
At
you can
the
do
very,
location.
Very end, at the
You can't do
very,
location,
very end,
yeah.
it says instead of targeting a creature, you can choose a location.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can do location.
I-
It's just like I'm just curious about like if you have a anti-scrying, how does that work?
Mhm.
Well, that's why I'm scrying on the mansion, not
I
on
know.
Lucifer.
Well, I know, yeah, but I'm like, it just seems like, man. So if as long as they know your location, they can still scry on you.
Yep.
Technically.
It's creepy.
Well, Lucian is
Okay.
creepy, so makes sense.
I want to see how bad it is.
The scrying chamber.
As you cast your scrying spell once again, this time intent on seeing your home, you see the Alephakir Manor looming in the darkness of the Yavik night. It is shockingly in decent condition. There's, of course, a few signs of wear and tear over the years of disrepair, but it appears like it's at least maintained.
Are the lights on?
One light in the
Can I-
very tallest tower.
Can I ascertain? I feel like I do know where it is. Is it in the clock tower?
Yes.
Okay. And it says that I can't move.
Nope.
Is
Is
there
there-
anything else I can see? Like maybe some people or movement?
Roll perception.
Okay. I'm gonna get full use out of this fucking spell as much as I can. Investigation, you said?
Perception.
Okay, perception.
You'll be scrying on freaking everybody.
Ooh, 19, so 27.
Okay.
If it becomes a problem, I'll stop her.
Just passes out charms of anti-scrying.
No, I know what he's talking about.
Lucian, as you scry further on your surroundings, you see that you do not see a lot of activity, but there is some subtle bits of it. You can see movement within the hedge maze. And you can see the distant fishing village down the hill is abandoned.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's no torches or lanterns or anything indicating a living presence there.
That's because they're back in the Dwarven Kingdom.
No.
Oh, wait.
Can I ascertain what's in the Hedgemage?
As you sort of zoom with your scrying eye, following one of the bits of movement you can pick out from the hedge maze. Again, it is a hedge maze, so it's a bit hard to see, but
They got
you
the
are
Google Maps.
yeah, you are able to see the hulking, stepping form of a dripping, ferocious ichor beast.
I'm going to do something on my own behalf. I am going to do a Constitution saving throw. Okay, I did.
Okay.
Is there? You said, can I zoom in? Can I see through the clock tower? No. Too much to ask for my little magic.
Well, I mean, if technically you were zooming, zooming already,
Zooming
you
in
tried
was
to.
more of a flavor, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't move.
I will let it go for now. Just rest.
Lucian, as you break out of your scrying sight, you contemplate what you've seen. The manor is inhabited and in decent condition, but the hedge maze is populated by ichor beasts, and the fishing village appears devoid of all life. The Concord has left their scar on yet another place.
In the hedge mage, I'll make a roll if you need me to. Did I notice about my mother's tree?
Again, you were just scrying on the mansion, the hedge maze. The mansion itself is huge, let alone the village, the playground, the hedge maze. There's so much to take in, you're not going to be able to see everything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, scrying on a location isn't as good as scrying on the
Yeah, but
person themselves.
I would have scryed on him, but I don't think it would.
Yeah, the chance that it wouldn't work, and also I think he would be able to
He
tell.
could see, he would know. Yeah, because of his special eye. But
I can see it now. Hello, sister. Nice of you to drop in.
Yeah, I like imagine like he would like just look straight at the scrying.
Yeah.
And just wave.
Struggle with my wants and desires and just try to get some sleep.
All right.
Like he would totally wave it, just like no picking on your surprise, sister. You got to wait till you get here first.
You said you were going to be here in like 4 months.
I know. I'm
almost
like
half a year.
1000% surprised that he hasn't whined at all.
Hey, how long did he tell her to wait?
This was
1 month.
Yeah, 1 month.
Yeah, that was
On the ball.
almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, if I told you to wait 1 month, it's almost a year.
To Lucian's credit, though, every time she checked in, he said even months later that he was struggling to get the surprise finished and that he was losing sleep trying to get it right.
So he lied.
Well,
he was very overconfident about how much he understood what he was working with.
Yeah, the ichor beast.
That's what I got.
We have the catalyst.
I'll just talk to Marzana and just talk out loud to her. And
Alright.
I'll ask her advice.
As many of you tuck in for rest, reunited with your families, but left with even more in the way of troubled thoughts.
Hang on, what kind of roll should I make to see if Caleb stays awake until they get back?
I mean, they're only going to be assuming you mean what's is in them. Like they're only going to be gone for like 20 minutes. So
It is pretty late though, and we've been doing a lot.
true. I mean, yeah, I'll let you roll for it if you want. Roll a I'll call it a wisdom save.
And how much would it be for a room for them for about a week?
For a week.
Also,
5
I
gold.
rolled a 3. So does Caleb just conk out on
Caleb,
the counter?
by the time what's his returns, you are conked out at the counter. What's his guiding the doctors home, or at least what will be their temporary home for a time. Caleb, asleep at the bar. Miezdu throws a blanket over you and has one of the Bladovich sisters monitor you to ensure none of the patrons give you trouble.
I'll put him in his room if you'd like. I'm on my way up to mine.
That good with you, Cabe?
I mean, he's asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also an out-of-character question.
Yeah,
carried.
fine.
Alright. As you all make your preparations for sleep.
Yeah, now I need
I wonder if any of the late night patrons took note of their prince literally falling asleep right in front of them.
Being carried.
Well, he's been working so hard. They can't blame.
Yeah. It's like the prince
And
just gets
they
carried out.
did notice. As for what they thought of it, that's for me to know.
Yeah.
But as you all ready for a rest, far from the dwarvish prison and the consequences of your actions, but it appears they may have followed you. The Queen will be here in a week to determine your honesty, and she has made it clear if you fail her again, either you will die or she will, protecting her love. Dr. Knight is sheltering in Rosewick, and those who
Caleb didn't want a message until they knew it would work.
and Dr. Knight is already fairly unpopular. Caleb's father and Caro's former party member have made their opinions clear that they think both the king and the doctor deserve to die for what they did. But Bernard has acquiesced to Caleb's will on the matter. But there are silver linings in it all. The Lev and Bladovich families have been reunited at last. Caro's old friend can see the sun and plans to return to her once this work of his is finished. And Dr. Knight seems to earnestly be seeking redemption and is eager as anyone to get started on undoing the damage she's done now that she knows how to. Pieces on the board continue to move as you have taken the first of the Lady in White's inner circle off the board. And
Level up?
I already gave you the level up for this.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why we're level 13 now. But I wouldn't be
I thought that was a
against
bonus
another
level.
one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it.
I thought that was like a bonus level up for getting
No,
the stabilizer.
No, that was the flavor reason for why, but the actual design reason is because that was basically you're trusting Dr. Knight to redeem herself, and I'm assuming you're not planning to just slit her throat anytime soon. So
Not yet.
yeah, not yet.
What's this would fight for her? He's liking her now.
Probably wouldn't be able to stop it.
No, but he could
Let's
revive
be
her.
honest. If Caleb and or Zephyr wanted it to happen, it would.
That's what
There's
before.
there's ways around stabbing and slitting.
All I heard was necromancer. Hello.
That's Gans.
Listen, I am really, really out of it right now. I'm so sorry.
You're always out of it.
But that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Hey.
No, we'll get another level soon when we go and use those wonderful rogue skills on Barbarous.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm
Yeah,
You
so
can go
excited for
slit
that.
his throat.
Oh no! He's gonna feel it.
yeah. I was actually going to ask because this is going to determine what the sort of next objective, so to speak, is. Now that you guys are settled in, I know obviously we have to finish wrapping up Tevadra stuff, but
What's the next goal?
yeah, I was going to say, do you have an idea of what the next goal is? Because the new
Go to
arc will be
Barbarous.
starting soon, so
Barbarous, right?
is that good with everyone?
Yeah, Caleb was gonna try to get the throne and then raise the force
Raise
of
an army.
and then we're gonna go fuck up Barbarous.
Yes, I have plans for him.
Okay, noted.
And what's this even plans to possibly go back to that one dwarven village? You know, the one where the knights that have been disbanded?
Errant, yeah.
Yes. I have plans for them.
Noted.
A lot of plans.
Plans are
Plan.
happening. All
Plan.
right. But yes, that is the end of tonight's everything. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Down for maintenance at the moment, but soon to be resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer taking over their old family home. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. Support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get your podcasts from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions. Check out the Odd Tornado Productions YouTube channel to catch up on what you may have missed. Check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other work, including our Human Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH, don't get it wrong. And if you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link to be posted in chat. On Ko-fi at kofi.com/oddtornadoproductions, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/tornadoodd. The TNO are capitalized if you want to get immediate updates whenever we go live, as well as updates on everything else we're doing. And if you want to see more of this party, plus or minus a few, tune in Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time for our Monday game, Under Locks and Keys, featuring a party of globetrotting treasure hunters that are assembling the artifacts of the gods in a race against technology-worshipping cultists. Thanks to everyone so much at the table for playing. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching. And we'll see you all next week.
Yay!